So may I request Honorable Andrew Williams Jr. to kindly make his presentation. And as I said, let's make it as interactive, as dialoguing as possible, so that there is scope and a space for interesting dialogue when we are talking about and celebrating International Day of Peace with the thrust being dialogue. Thank you. Mr. Andrew Williams Jr., please. Is Mr. Andrew Williams there? Can we see Mr. Andrew Williams?
He was there. I have seen him or a picture from him, and this was 5 minutes ago, and now he seems he is offline.
So should we go to the next speaker? Because let's not waste time. I'm probably there's a problem of connectivity because of which he might have left. So let's not waste time and let's go on to the next speaker. The next speaker, so that means she's going to be the first speaker, and incidentally, I'm sure she's the youngest speaker in this whole lot of distinguished speakers. Her name is Ms. Suchismita Ghoshal. She's from India. She's a very, very versatile poetess. That is her forte. She writes brilliant poetry. I've read many of her poems, and she writes poems both in Bengali and English. And she is internationally connected in the world of poetry, and she has been working with large number of poets and poetic societies across the world. And also, she has been invited to various international festivals and open mics, and her awards, accolades, and achievements. Like it's quite inspiring being one of the youngest speakers here. And also, she's from the field of management. And also personally, for information for the audience, I'm editing a book on Gandhian communication values, and there she has written a chapter on Gandhian communication values and workplace communication and management. So quite interesting, versatile writer and poetess. May I invite Suchismita Ghoshal to kindly give her talk, and I'm sure she's going to be very, very prompt with her timing. 10 minutes. Thank you very much. Suchismita, please.
Thank you so much. Namaskar. I'm Suchishmita. I am from India, that is Bharat. And I'm extremely honored and privileged uh, to be invited in this platform of eminent speakers and distinguished personalities. I'm extremely happy. And today, on this occasion of International Peace Day, as our topic is centrality of dialogue in peace building, I would love to present my topic, which is exploring the Gandhian approach to dialogue. So without wasting any further, I would just go to my details and speech, which I am very interested to give on this eminent platform of distinguished speakers and artists and so many more workers and peace builders, of course. So I would I would ask for everyone's appreciation as well as their feedbacks. If there is any mistakes, I would ask for mercy also. So let's start it. So sometimes back when I happened to read this beautiful quote of Horace Mann, who said, "Do not think of knocking out another person's brains because he differs in opinion from you. It would be a rational decision to knock yourself on the head because you differ from yourself 10 years ago." Man is so apt in midst of the growth of intolerance, aggressiveness, inability to enter into conversations with those who think are opposing us, racism, and xenophobia. Whether in our families, within friends, in workplaces, community settings, and in the world at large, to me, there seems to be a lot of dialogue deficit. We remain steadfast with our ego and not ready to either listen to others or talk to others to hear out their viewpoints as we think this clash with ours. This is all the more reasons of increasing conflict in our families and societies. Have we lost the art and science of entering into a dialogue? Jane Goodall had so rightly said, change happens by listening and then starting a dialogue with the people who are doing something you don't believe is right. To reaffirm our intrinsic faith in the methodology of dialogues, the General Assembly of the United Nations, in its resolution number 7732, declared 2023 as the International Year of Dialogue as a guarantee for peace. The resolution emphasized that dialogue is a transformative peace-building method in resolving conflicts and in building peace. It recognized that dialogue as a vulnerable tool in conflict resolution and prevention can help to ease tensions, resolve disputes, overcome dividing lines, and contribute to a culture of peace and nonviolence, people-to-people contacts, and also reconciliation. The UN General Assembly underlined that the International Year of Dialogue as a guarantee of peace constituted a means of mobilizing the efforts of the international community to promote peace and trust among nations based on inter alia, political dialogue, negotiations, mutual understanding, and cooperation in order to build sustainable peace, solidarity, and harmony. In this backdrop, it is important to understand the art and science of having a dialogue with different types of people and in a different cultural community. This conversation will only focus on the Gandhian approach to dialogue, and let's dissect the Gandhian approach to dialogue. Mahatma Gandhi's Satyagraha offers a powerful strategy of establishing dialogues with those who oppose us. It is practical and can be used in any situation. But let us understand how we can resolve conflicts through the principles of Satyagraha. An important principle of Satyagraha is avoidance of any form of violence. Violence cannot be the method to resolve any conflict, as Gandhi says, because man is not capable of knowing the absolute truth, but therefore is not competent to punish. On the idea of Satyagraha, Mahatma Gandhi points out Satyagraha is gentle, it never wounds. It must not be the result of anger or malice. Gandhi fashioned a method of conflict in the exercise of which a man could come to know what he is and what it means to evolve. In Satyagraha, dogma gives way to an open exploration of context. The objective is not to assert propositions but to create possibilities. Johann Galtung has summarized Gandhi's conflict resolution norms as follows: all actions in conflict should arise out of conviction and not out of necessity. A conflict must be well defined. One's own goals should be stated clearly and opponent's goals must be understood. A positive approach to conflict should be maintained. Conflict should be seen as the opportunity to meet the opponent, as an opportunity to transform the society and the self. One should not harm or hurt others with words, thoughts, or deeds. All actions should be non-violent. Acting in a goal-consistent manner by including constructive elements and also being open and not secretive. One should not cooperate with evil or those who cooperate with it. Readiness is to sacrifice, and polarization of the situation and escalation of the conflict should be avoided. Also, it is necessary to aim for conversation rather than conflict, not only of the opponent, but conversation of the self as well, by seeking solutions that can be acceptable to both the parties. Conflict resolution through Satyagraha as a strategy of dialogues is based on the assumptions that some elements of common interest to the disputants always exist. This, I think, could be the starting point of dialogues. Disputants could be amenable to an appeal to the heart and mind. The spirit of dialogues entails the appeal of the heart and mind. Satyagrahis are capable of carrying satyagraha to the end. The satyagrahi must be clear about the essential purpose and elements of his case. It is never to injure the opponent. His or her case and conduct must be ever transparent. He or she must make reparation if an error is discovered. Let's take a set of examples which can take the satyagrahis to a next level, and some set of values which should be followed. First is empathy. Essential interest in common among opponents should be emphasized and dialogue encouraged on the basis. Gandhi had aptly said, three-fourths of the miseries and misunderstandings in the world disappear if we step into the shoes of our adversaries and understand their standpoint. Mutual toleration. Mahatma Gandhi had said the golden rule mutual toleration, seeing that we will never all think alike and we shall see truth in fragments and from different angles of vision. Consensus is not the same for all. We should enter the dialogue process with the spirit of mutual toleration. Also, we should remember that each one of us are different, having different perspectives and worldviews. So we should always keep in mind these differences while entering dialogues. Trust the opponents. Mahatma Gandhi had pointed out, many have deceived me and many have found wanting. But I do not repent. The most practical, the most dignified way of going on in the world is to take people at their word when you have no reason to contrary. Compromise on honorable terms. A satyagrahi can never miss a chance of compromise on honorable terms, because I can never be sure that I am right. But essentials or eternal principles or fundamentals should be defended unto death. Mahatma Gandhi had asserted human life is a series of compromises, and it is not always easy to achieve in practice what one had found to be true in theory. And compromise comes in every step, but one must realize that it is a compromise and keep the final goal constantly in front of the mind's eye. He further clarified, I could not have fought the Dutch and the English without love in my heart for them and without a readiness for compromise. But my compromises will never be at the cost of cause or the country. In this backdrop, to my mind, compromise on honorable terms should be constructed as an important pillar of dialogues. These cannot be dialogues when there is breakdown of communication and neither parties are ready of making compromises even in honorable terms. Do not exploit a position of an opponent's weakness. Is an important principle of Mahatma Gandhi's Satyagraha. It is an important principle of the art and science of any constructive dialogue. The resultant goodwill may induce an opponent to trust the Satyagrahi and move towards resolution. For example, Mahatma Gandhi called off Indians' mass Satyagraha in South Africa, January 1914, because of the strike by European railwaymen. General Smuts' secretary said to Gandhi, I do not like your people, but what I am to do? You help us in our days of need. You will not injure even the enemy. You desire victory by self-suffering alone and never transgress your self-imposed limits of courtesy and chivalry. And that reduces us to sheer helplessness. A satyagrahi never humiliates or embarrasses the opponent, appeals never to his fear and always to his heart. This is an extremely important dimension of any constructive dialogue. Further, conversion of the opponent is furthered by Satyagrahi's personal sincerity, which is best manifested by making sacrifices for the given cause. To me, Gandhian Ahimsa is not merely a negative state of harmlessness, but it is a positive state of love, of doing good even to the evildoer. But it does not mean helping the evildoer to continue the wrong of tolerating it by passive acceptance. The basis of satyagraha is that the opponent is open to reason and has a conscience that human nature to bound or at least likely to respond to any noble and friendly action. Means
Just
and the
2 minutes, please. Please stick to your time.
yes,
Only 2 minutes left.
yes, sir. I am just coming to the end point only. The Mahatma further had said, I feel that our progress towards the goal will be in exact proportion to the purity of our means. The method may appear to be long, perhaps too long, but I am convinced that it is the shortest. Finally, the important dimension of any constructive dialogue is patience. True patience, meaning fortitude, endurance, waiting, is a heroic act but rare attribute. This quality made Mahatma Gandhi the greatest satyagrahi of our time. These attributes need to be practiced for making our dialogue successful. To conclude it, I would like to tell that through the exploration in this chapter, it can be stressed that satyagraha is a dialogue, therefore listening to others, treating them as a reasonable and reasoning equal is essential. Satyagraha aims at seeking truth in any situation and uses only non-violent means to reach the goal. To conclude, the Secretary General of the United Nations, Antonio, had rightly pointed out in the context of the increasing conflicts, Nagasaki and Hiroshima reminds us to put peace first every day, to work on conflict prevention and resolution, reconciliation and dialogue, and to tackle the roots of conflict and violence. Here I conclude, and the stage is open for all. Namaskar.
Thank you very much. Thanks. You have you just finished within the 10 minutes stipulation. Next, I'm not sure if our brother from the United States, brother Andrew, has been able to join. Is
Can you hear me?
Andrew Williams, are you there? Have you been able to join?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes. Fine. So,
Yeah, I have very.
yes. Thank you very much. Honorable Andrew Williams Jr. is he lives a life dedicated to delivering globally sourced regenerative solutions, localizing sustainable development goals that progress social equity outcomes for people, the ecology, and the planet to ensure the trust we leave no one behind. He's best known for philanthropic endeavors, and he has been a goodwill ambassador to several projects of social impact in multiple sectors. He develops influences and coordinates strategic alliance outcomes for tribes, nations, voluntary organizations, business projects, communities of people, and individuals globally. So, a very interesting uh, uh, framework. We are really looking forward to listening to Andrew after our sister from India, Suchit set the ball rolling with her Gandhian perspective to dialogues, and also as a moderator, I reserve the right to interject after say 9 minutes or so that we stick to the time. And as I mentioned right at the beginning, this is a program on dialogue, so let us try to ensure dialogue amongst all the participants. So please, Mr. Andrew, you are there. The platform is all yours.
Thank you so much. I am having internet challenges, so Joseph Acanolo will read my event in case I get cut off. But I want to thank you for the introduction, that all protocols be observed, in my recognition and appreciation of Global Peace Let's Talk International founder, Dr. Nikki DePina, for my appointment as Global Peace Let's Talk Ambassador for the United States. Thanks also to our moderator from India, Dr. Kunda, today's other speakers, our worldwide Global Peace Ambassadors, and our audience members. As political leaders are meeting at the United Nations to find pathways to peace building between countries, it is quite exciting for us to be here together on this International Day of Peace, demonstrating that peace starts from within our hearts, spreads throughout our families, the communities where we live, the wider online community, and the entire human race, to leave no one behind. It was that vision that originally inspired the development of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights that will be celebrating its 75th anniversary on December 10th, 2023. That declaration was defined 30 rights that everyone has by virtue of being born human. All of us here are demonstrating human rights number 29, responsibility for our actions and efforts to live in peace with one another. That is also the hope and vision that help articulate the 17 goals and 169 targets comprising the Sustainable Development Goals 2015 through 2023. As the second phase of the Millennium Development Goals launched in the year 2000 to help us achieve peace on Earth during our lifetime by then Secretary General of the United Nations, Kofi Annan. Kofi Annan also launched in 2000 an initiative called the United Nations Global Compact that opened the door for civil society organizations like Global Peace Let's Talk to work together to influence and hold accountable businesses to take responsibility for the outcomes of their actions inside the company and around the world in the areas of human rights, labor, the environment, and transparency or anti-corruption. As president of the 5 Points Youth Foundation in Los Angeles, California, since 2014, one of my first actions was to join the United Nations Global Compact and recruited over 100 Goodwill ambassadors around the world to launch a Caring for Climate campaign impacting multiple sustainable development goals. Dr. Nikki DePina and Dr. Joseph Akinola are among my Goodwill ambassadors. While the Millennium Development Goals began with only 8 broad targets chosen by a handful of people, the 17 Sustainable Development Goals were developed through survey results from millions of people around the world. It was also shaped by the work of the African Union, called the Common African Position on the Post-2015 Development Agenda. It was also impacted by the Paris Agreement, a legally binding international treaty on climate change adopted by 196 parties at the 2015 UN Climate Change Conference, COP21. This week in New York City and on streets in countries around the world, people of all ages and backgrounds are taking responsibility and holding their leaders accountable ahead of the upcoming COP28 in the United Arab Emirates to mitigate the increasing damage done to Mother Earth herself, which threatens the health and well-being of all humanity and threatens any chance of us achieving peace among ourselves unless we take responsibility to work together to be the change we need to see through dialogues like this. Luckily, we do not have to work without a plan, and we do not have to work in the dark. As we have passed the halfway mark of the Sustainable Development Goals, reports about our progress are being widely published. On September 18th, 2023, leaders of the SDG Summit adopted a sweeping political declaration to reaffirm their shared commitment to end poverty and hunger everywhere, combat inequalities within and among countries, and build peaceful societies that leave no one behind. Unfortunately, I must share with you the results from a recent Sustainable Development Solutions Network report showing that none of the 50 states in the United States are even halfway toward achieving the SDGs, and that the ones left furthest behind are people of African and indigenous descent. Fortunately, I am here to personally report that I can see on the ground and all around me progress towards achieving the SDGs that are simply not being reported. That may be because many civil society organizations don't know what the SDGs are, or don't know how to report ways their efforts impact the SDGs. I'm coming to my conclusion. With your help, I hope to change that here in the United States and around the world. I'm committing myself and encouraging all of us here to register with the United Nations Global Compact. It's free for NGOs and interfaith organizations to report how our work impacts one or more of the Sustainable Development Goals on our websites, in our promotional materials, and in our report submitted to the United Nations Global Compact website. Just go to unglobalcompact.org/participation. I have a bold challenge for all of us. Right now, there are over 12,000 businesses as members of the United Nations Global Compact, but only 4,000 civil society organizations registered as members. I propose registering another 10,000 civil society organizations by December 10th, 23, the 75th anniversary of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, so that we can hold accountable those businesses to truly demonstrate their publicly stated commitment to human rights, labor, the environment, and transparency. By increasing our collective memberships through the UN Global Compact, we can mobilize interfaith, nonprofit, academic, and business collaboratives to identify and quantify local success stories advancing the Sustainable Development Goals during the 75th anniversary of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights in the United States and worldwide. In conclusion, that is one way here through Global Peace Let's Talk can convert our dialogues on peace building into having real world impacts to leave no one behind. Just go to www.unglobalcompact.org participation, or join the mailing list on my website, andrewnetworks.com, and I will help work you through the process. Thank you very much for this opportunity to share with you, and much love to all of us to have peace in our hearts, to build peace in our communities and peace in our world. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for really sticking to the time. That's really wonderful and very insightful presentation from your part. Without wasting time, let me go to the next speaker, Madam Jyotirmaya Thakur, Dr. Jyotirmaya Thakur. She was born in India in 1956. She's a retired principal, and she's a bilingual writer of 48 books in 8 genres, translated in 43 languages, and co-author in many international anthologies. She is a motivational speaker and environmental activist, a social and cultural activist. She is a pacifist at heart and believes that peace and nature education begins at home from childhood. She believes in global harmony. I've listened to ma'am for quite in several occasions. I had the opportunity. She has some really interesting points and perspectives, which I really value a lot. So it would be really wonderful listening to you, ma'am, on the centrality of dialogue of peace. So please go ahead, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you very much. Namaskar, everyone. And thank you very much for the privilege to be able to talk Global Peace Let's Talk. I'm also an ambassador for India, being an Indian, and therefore it's great. And my topic today is literature as a medium of peace. Peace is not a foregone conclusion. Peace is a fight, a daily conquest of faith and hope. In the midst of the storm raised by man-made disasters, pandemics, and wars, not only natural, but man-made wars, which continue to grow, we are witnessing a general impoverishment and the risk that this crisis will fuel new conflicts around the world, which, while stymieing prospects of resolving ongoing ones. Peace is a word often abused, violated, soaked with blood, loved and despised by the improper use of force. Peace stands as a harbinger of harmony and civil coexistence, as Gandhi said, among all humankind, among all men, whether you agree with them or you don't agree with them, but we can always disagree with patience, resistance, and with understanding. But to cultivate peace and to ensure that it is lasting, it is necessary to struggle every day to preserve it. So literature is a remarkable representation of life in its vivid colors, capable of forming a rainbow, overshadow all clouding influences. We should never allow our pure passions, as Gandhi would say, the universal law is above any human law, to be dormant when grief takes over the world or life. We should act with aplomb to overcome it. We should stay calm in face of storming situations. One who sails away from the shore is prepared to face tempestuous tendencies during voyage. One should stay unruffled when overwhelming odds test the tenacity of temperament. Serenity is not an external entity, but an inherently innovative idea nurtured with rapture. So the key words for mine in literature is optimism, humanistic vision, inspiration, humanity, harmony by spiritual consciousness. Again, I'm coming to spirituality, but that's what I feel, that we are all God's creation and we are one. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Modi has again said that. We have to, as he said, place your feet in anybody's, even your opponent's shoes before you speak or before you write. So here, literature should broaden our humanistic vision. A purely prominent writer has perspectives which broadens his horizon with resplendent rainbows representing scintillating splendor of sustenance. He should provide budding writers with the nectar of human life through his words, dedicate himself to the tremendous task of holding the light of knowledge aloft to pierce the gloom of ignorance considerably. Ignorance is darkness, and the light is knowledge. Literature should lay the ethical foundations for a consummately clean life shorn of arrogance and hypocrisy. We are all children of all one universe, of one God, and the need not to live in chaos, but to live in peace and harmony. It demands the writers then to present vibrant, innovative, and viable alternatives. To believe is to be soulful. Our writing must have a mission: the salvation of the planet, the conversion of minds, the transformation of actions as we move from mundane to the majestic, from the destructive to the constructive, from the haughty and hateful to the healing, and holy. Optimism acts as an armor against all negative influences surrounding human existence. we should let life flow with genuine glow, accepting challenging situations with remarkable readiness. How one reacts and responds to crisis in the passage of Voyager assumes paramount prominence. We should deal with all issues with a positive bent of mind. Life is not smooth sailing. It is in turbulent waters. And therefore, we should find peace when peace is broken into pieces. We should piece together, peace to keep the mind at peace. We are people, we are all people imbued with the power. The angels of mercy, our pen is in play. We may invoke divine mercy, but the universe demands that we do our part of forgiveness, our part of mercy. Beyond the words, there needs to be action, but action is only possible if there is fuel to energize it. Our writing is the call of action, and true transformation calls on the moral, emotional, intellectual, and spiritual. People need something to think about. No one is better equipped to make others think than the thinkers among the writers. So writing a poem for me is a prayer. It's a prayer always, a means of communication to the Creator and its creation. Through my words, the thoughts are penned to make readers think beautiful things and positive things, life-altering things and possible things for the welfare of all humankind. Being a human is the best adornment we can give God back. So inspirational literature serves as a medium to harmonize varying individual and social objectives into a narrative of international mission. As a means of individual self-actualization, it can have a therapeutic, a very healing effect on individuals and an effective motivational force. And of course, the saying goes, to be effective and result-oriented, a presentation should be long enough to cover the message and short enough to hold the fleeting interest of readers. So let me just, give you a poem of a great poet which I love. In 1989, the great peace activist and poet Denis Levertov wrote, "Making peace, a voice from the dark shouted out, the poets must give us imagination of peace to oust the intense, familiar imagination of disaster. Peace, not only the absence of war, but peace like a poem, is not there ahead of itself, can't be known except in the words of its making. Grammar of justice, syntax of mutual aid. A line of peace might appear if we reconstruct the sentence, our lives are making, revoked its transformation of profit and power, questioned our needs, allowed with long pauses. A cadence of peace might balance its way on that different fulcrum. Peace, a presence, an energy, field, more intense than war. More intense than war. So let's have war for peace now. Through words, through writing, through our pen. Let's have a war for peace, like previously we had for religion. Let's have war for peace. Questions our needs, allowed long pauses. A cadence of peace might balance its weight of the different fulcrum. Peace, a presence. And therefore, each word a vibration of light, facets of the forming crystal. So therefore, when words penetrate us, they change the chemistry of the soul, of the imagination. We need the effect to be the change that we seek in the world. So we have to be the change. Okay, so the conclusion, I'm already concluding.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
One
ma'am.
of my great favorite pacifist poets was a Nobel laureate Tagore. Rabindranath Tagore. He was Thakur, but people call him Tagore. And I, being a Thakur, I have always been one of his greatest fans. He wrote to Margaret Woods in the middle of the First World War. It seems to my mind that Goethe's drama of Faust is being acted in your history when man enters into a contract with Mephistopheles for enlarging his hemisphere of enjoyment and possession. He ends by killing his very object. That was the modern view in which he wrote. Tagore always believed very much like Noam Chomsky, a contemporary thinker, in his words, that another world is possible by seeking to create constructive alternatives of thought, actions, and institutions, and by bringing a measure of peace and justice and hope to this world. When Rudyard Kipling in
Ma'am, your time is
1865,
up, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
sorry,
Ma'am, your
Yeah.
time is up. Yes, ma'am.
my time is up, right? So I'm
Yes,
just
ma'am.
concluding.
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
okay. The Rudyard Kipling, he said the East and the West were too divergent. Never the twain shall meet. And Tagore responded in his characteristic, whole man is man, machine is machine, and never the twain shall meet. So it's machine and versus against man. So in a way, what I'm going to say, in The Gardener, he said such a nice thing. In his vision, human life is perfect, in unison with nature. And he created the Shantiniketan, based it on the very vision that the whole world can come under nature and everyone is one when we have knowledge together in nature. Nature is a great teacher. Literature should be based and written there. And Shantiniketan gave it means very much the home of peace. So I end with Rabindranath Tagore, one of my favorite poets, the great Nobel laureate, and of course Gandhi, already been spoken of and greatly accumulated. So we are from the land of Gandhi, Rabindranath Tagore, and we need, and being the spiritual, I believe spiritual unity is the greatest humanity and peace for humankind. Thank you very much, everyone. We are all one, and I'm so happy to
Thank
be
you,
able to speak to you.
thank you, ma'am, for your inspiring talk on the essence of literature as a dialogue for peace. So I think that's really, in fact, we must thank Nikki,
Yes.
we must thank Nikki, ma'am, and Mr. Joseph, who are putting in so much of untiring work uh, for this whole series of dialogues that we are going to have. So really, from the bottom of my heart, I thank Nikki, ma'am, and Joseph for putting together all the posters, bringing people together. It's a great work that is being done. And so, without
Wait, I thank you too for giving such a nice hosting and putting together a time limit and letting be it a dialogue, reminding us not to have a monologue. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. Without wasting any time, may I invite Mr. Mac Alunge. He's from Cameroon, and he's an internationally acclaimed Cameroonian. He is an artist. He's a social entrepreneur. He's a businessman. He's the founder of the production house Straw Academy and the creator of the art brand and label MA Park. He's an advocate for social causes, including peace building, climate change, and sustainable development. He's the UNESCO Peace Ambassador, as well as the brand ambassador for the Africa Export Import Bank. Mac, it's really an honor to have you with us. If you're there, kindly start your talk. And as once again, I would like to reiterate 10 minutes, please. Thank you very much. I'm sure, Mac, you're hearing us. Can we find Mac in the whole room, please? Is it possible to find him? Yes, Mac is there. Mac Alunge, but he's not able to hear us. Mac, can you hear us? You are very much there. We can see you. But it seems,
Asked him to unmute himself now.
sorry.
I've just asked him to unmute himself now.
Okay.
Let me call him directly. Maybe I call him direct.
Okay.
Let me call him
You can't
directly.
get to
to
him.
unmute
I think I have his presentation here.
I want to call him directly.
Okay, we'll be standing by.
Yeah. Please call him. Of course, if the house allows, maybe go to the next person, because otherwise we waste time in trying to find out. We could actually go over to the next speaker without wasting time. And
Yes.
we will be having our Reverend Mr. Yuel Bhati. And in fact, I've also heard him quite a number of times. He's from Canada. He's essentially from Pakistan. He's from Canada. And like I've had the privilege of hearing to him his discourses, and it has been quite interesting listening to him a number of times over the Global Peace Talk, platform. So he promotes interfaith cooperation. He basically tries. He's working quite a lot to end religiously motivated violence and create culture of peace and healing for the earth and all living beings. So he has been involved in a lot of interfaith dialogue. And the last time we had him, he was really interesting to listen to him. Basically, he's also part of the United Religions Initiative to promote enduring daily interfaith cooperation and in religiously motivated violence. He's greatly appreciated both in Canada and Pakistan for his work in uniting religions for prayer and peace building. So interfaith dialogue is a very, very important dimension in today's world as we live in a multi-plural, uh, world. So in that context, it's so very important. So we would really love to hear from Reverend Yuel Bhati on the essence of interfaith dialogue in today's world. Thank you, and may I request Mr. Bhati to kindly share his presentation.
Greeting to everyone. Thank you so much, Mr. Moderator, for my words, which you said more than what I am doing and what I did that. But my journey is going on. Peace begin with me. And my dear loving friends around the world, we gathered here on the invitation of Global Peace, Let's Talk for celebration of International Day of Peace 2003. Happy Independence Day of Peace to everyone, all mankind of the world. I'm so happy that I am celebrating IDP 2023 here in Dubai, but I based in Canada, or before that in Pakistan. But it's my privilege that I am in this year celebrating that International Day of Peace with Global Peace Let's Talk. This International Day of Peace I am celebrating for last 20 years. And IDP 2003 is the main theme is action for peace. Our ambitions for the global goals, UN. Today, we will mainly focus on centrality dialogue in peace building. So it's a very important centrality for the dialogues. And the dialogue is a very important for peace building. As since I have a vast experience in my past history, I have seen that when the dialogue is started, when we acceptance, tolerance, and forgiveness, it's very essential that we should accept each other, and then there will be dialogues. And dialogue is always very essential when there is a conflict. And after 9/11, it was my coming to the interfaith dialogue. It was not my my VN, but that was my colleague when 9/11 was happened. So before that, I was in Singapore for leadership training. So I have seen that interfaith dialogue is a very necessary, especially in Pakistan, because there are two. We live there in minorities, and there are Muslims as a majority. So their vision for the Christianity was not good, and that start with the 9/11. After the 9/11, I have been privileged to visit United Nations also in 2007, and I celebrated that International Day of Peace over there. And I visited that trade center in 2007. And thereafter, in 2008, I've been visit India, and we celebrated International Day of Peace over there. So anyway, I am committed with the dialogues of peace. And when there is any conflict resolution, conflict is occurred, we have to be a very, very much deliberately be very humble, and we have to give a chance to others, because when we put our force that this is my vision, that's not. It's a mutually understanding, and mutually understanding is a very must for the dialogue. Not in a one-time dialogue, it's a dialogue of series. Then conflicts will be resolved. In my speeches are different from other dignitaries, because I'm saying expressing that how we can be a part of this word in a peace resolutions and peace resolutions. So we can see that there are certain barriers in that in our world, because there are many wars and many conflicts, and their religion under violence. And you see that there are about a religion world in the religions are in the world are 4,000 religions. That's their own traditions. Our biggest religion is Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, Hinduism, Judaism. These are 5, and there are about 4 or less than cultures. So dialogue is mainly to resolve any conflicts, may in family, may in society, may in any church, any organization, our country. Our dialogue is a solution of peace. One thing I, in my life for the 20 years, what I spent in peace building, there are certain way for the peace building. When we gather for any cause, any conflicts, we can be a peace builder. We can be a peacemaker. And who are the peacemaker? They will be called the son of God. So I mean, children of God. So I am so practical in my life. In Pakistan, we have seen that there are certain issues are over there. Sometimes that our churches are burned, that Bibles are burned. Then another side, sometime for the majority, that Quran, Holy Quran are burned in Western worlds. So there are so many conflicts. But the fruit of the interfaith, we have observed that when we stand with that other victims, they will stand with us. We have to give full support to them, and they will go give a support to us. Now, recently there is a Jadawala in Pakistan. There was many churches were burned. There were many houses were burned, and that was not good. But we have seen that our friends, just like Mufti Ashik Hussain and other our religious friends, they were go there and they give a full support to the Christian community for the peace building, or they are making the peace building very well, very well. And in practically, we are achieving so many ambitions, so many achievements. So interfaith dialogue at the Lord is a very essential. And you see that for any peace building, we can through their in peace building, we can through the with the women, with that children. Actually, I'm focusing for the more than 20 years on the children education. What I have seen that now I'm in this life area that I'm in a transformation. So I want to transformation. That's my willing. What I did or what should be done for the peace building to the children. That those are Muslim, those are a Christian, all over there. But we have done that all of good things for the children, because they are our coming generation, and they have to take over that ruling parties and everything in their own countries. But I think they should be a peace builder. Children are the very good peace builders, and I have observed and seen that women have a very good quite role for the peace building. Women. I mean, women are the peace building in a family, in a society, in any organization, in everywhere. So
Another
I
2 minutes are there for
yeah,
you, sir.
yeah,
Please
yeah.
excuse, yeah.
Oh, it's okay. I know that. Is possible that one my presentation can be a run or for the children's is possible? Hello.
Sorry?
Is possible there? I have sent a presentation one.
How long would it be, sir?
That will be a 1 and 30 1 and 30 second.
Yes, sir.
That
Please
is
show. Please show.
no. That is with you, and might be a Michael can play. I will be not able to do that.
Okay. I think it. Yeah, I was sent, but I have a little problem showing it. I don't know if Mr. Joseph has it, but anyway, we will try to work it out as we finish, possibly. So.
All right. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
if you could kindly conclude.
I'm going to conclude, and it's a really very good platform of GPLT, because this on this platform, Dr. Nikki and all the organizations are doing very well work. My point of view is this: we should be come forward with the practical. Little things can be little words, little things, little poem can be have a words on a social media or in everything. Every pen writing is making a worth, or anything good. We will be able to see a better world in future. May God bless everyone. And once again, congratulations for holding this very important day, International Day of Peace. God bless you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I've been told that our friend from Cameroon, Mac Lunge, seems to be back, though his network, according to the message, is extremely poor. So if we can try and find out in case if we are able to listen to him, otherwise there will be a presentation. He has a presentation which can be shown in the chat, basically. Like Mac's presentation is in the chat. I don't know if Mac is there, if we can hear.
I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. Thank you. Unfortunately, I am having a very bad internet connection, which I very much anticipated. The reason for which I pre-recorded my presentation. So I would just humbly request, because I cannot be sure as to whether this connection right now will last, because I heard I was previously called up and I did not even hear. So if we could play the video that I pre-recorded, I think that would be fine.
Okay, okay. So I believe we would request Mr. Joseph to kindly share in the chat your presentation.
Okay, let me quickly launch the video. A minute, please. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay. Do we go to our last speaker for the day? Video. Let me go to the last presenter for the day, because
Okay.
I think
You
there
can go
seems-
ahead.
Yeah, Mr. Joseph, are we able to show his presentation, or because even from my side there seems to be a little problem. So yes, Mr. Joseph. I think let us go to the and then we try to find out how we can figure out to share with all the participants the the valued presentation of Mr. Mac Alunge. And I think let us focus on our last presenter for the day. The first, he is the his name is Mr. Ramadan Abdel Gayed Hassan. He's from Egypt. He's a presenter of a program with leaders in one of the Egyptian channels. He is the Arab Peoples and Parliament Organization in Fayoum and head of the Knights of Egypt. So may I request Mr. Ramadan, I believe as I was talking to Madam Rana, that Mr. Ramadan is going to speak in Arabic, and Madam Rana will share his English transcript in the chat. So let us start with the presentation of Mr. Ramadan. Mr. Ramadan, are you there? Madam Rana?
Good evening.
Good evening. Is Mr. Ramadan there?
Unfortunately, he couldn't join the session due to technical problems.
Oh, okay.
He's
Okay.
apologizing, but I do have his speech. If you would like me to tell you or to say it in English, pleasure.
Yes, yes, yes. Please go ahead so that at least we hear what is his perspectives, what his perspective. Yes, please.
Allow me just to put my glasses on and I'll read it for you. Thank you.
Yes, yes, yes. Quickly. Yeah.
Thank you. Just a second, please. Thank you for waiting. On behalf of Dr. Ramadan Abdelgid, I'll tell his speech. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, ladies and gentlemen, peace be upon you, and may the mercy and blessing of Allah be upon you. It's my pleasure and honor to participate in World Peace Day, which falls on the 21st of September every year. I would like to express my gratitude to all the organizers and those who have given me the opportunity to speak to you and introduce myself. My name is Ramadan Abdel Jayed from the Arab Republic of Egypt. I'm the leader of the Organization of Arab Peoples and Parliaments, Fayoum branch. I'm also a presenter on the program with the leaders on Egyptian satellite channels. I love volunteer work and participating in any activity that helps in the development of society. Therefore, I fully understand the meaning of peace and its importance for everyone. Ask the countries that have lost peace how they can live or prosper without peace. No one can live in peace. Psychological peace is the feeling of security, safety, tranquility, satisfaction, and the absence of fear and anxiety. When individuals live in peace, society as a whole lives in peace. In order for the whole world to live in peace, we must, number one, stand by the poor countries by providing them with food, drink, healthcare, and education to eliminate violence among them and resolve any disputes or wars between the members of the same community and other communities. Number two, stand by the displaced people from all nations due to crises, natural disasters, or wars that made them leave their countries in search of peace, security, food, and drink. They are in desperate need of assistance to live in peace. Number three, to ensure that the world lives in peace, it is necessary to help children, especially those affected by harsh circumstances and difficult days. Look at what happened to the children of Iraq, Libya, Syria, and what is happening in Yemen, Sudan, and not to forget Palestine and many other developing countries. Number four, if the world wants to live in peace, it must respect women and acknowledge their roles, efforts, and contributions in building families and communities. Women are not just mothers, sisters, wives, and daughters. They are half of society and partners in the other half. Number five, for the world to live in peace, we must raise awareness that we are all in the same boat and we live on one planet. There should be no destruction of nature or pollution of the environment. Number six, if the world wants to live in peace, the wealthy should pay their zakat, taxes, and charity, even give charity and volunteer to contribute financially and socially to nation building. Let us remember that if there is a poor person, there is a stingy rich person. Number seven, if the world wants to live in peace, every person should fulfill their obligations before seeking their rights. In conclusion, I call upon every individual in our world and on our planet, regardless of their gender, religion, language, or nationality, to join us. We are all the children of one father and one mother, Adam and Eve. Peace be upon them. If you want to live in peace, we must help the countries that receive refugees, especially those countries that treat them well. Our beloved Egypt has over 100 million inhabitants and nearly 10 million refugees, workers, and tourists live on its land. We all eat the same food, drink the same water, and live in the same housing. There is not a single refugee camp in our beloved Egypt. I extend my thanks and appreciation to all of you, and I pray to Allah, to the peace, that we all live in peace. In conclusion, I send you my best regards and warm wishes for peace. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I think what we should do is, because it's a whole program on dialogues, what is important is to have dialogue. So I would request, without wasting any time, to ensure that if any of our honored participants have any questions, questions for any of the speakers in this program, B, also come up with their interactions, but they need to be very brief, because dialogues need to be brief. We are not going to speak and give a lecture. So to the point on the centrality of dialogue for peace building. So if anyone has any question for our esteemed speakers for the day, Mr. Williams, Suchishmita, Madam Jyotirmaya, Mr. Ramadan, Mr. Mac, and Mr. UL Hati. So we have such interesting presentations with different dimensions. So I would request and open the floor for all of you to make very brief interjections. We are already running out of time. Thank you very much.
Okay, I've just dropped Mark's presentation.
Okay.
In the yes, the link to Mark's presentation in the chat box so we can all access it there. Also, I will try as much as possible to also post it on the main group so that some of us who are not privileged to be on this call too would also be able to access it. Thank you very much. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. So the floor is open to everyone, and let us hear from you. Any questions for anyone or any interjections on the, but please keep focused on the topic of the day, centrality of dialogues. Yes, please. Anyone? And please identify yourself so that we can, we are recording it, and that will be very useful. The floor is open to the house, please.
Yeah,
I'm sure
Dr.
any
Kundu,
one of all of you might be having some points or the other, and it's so very
can
important because
you,
we are in a conversation, we are in a dialogue. Yes, please.
yeah, can you hear me, Dr. Kundu?
Yes, please. Yes, ma'am. How are you, ma'am?
Good, good. This is Kumu Gupta, Secretary General, Global Peace Secretariat. I just want to make a comment that I think it's very important to expound on what Gandhiji's principles and messages are, because after listening to the speakers today, it goes a little bit deeper than just listening to, do unto others what you want to see the change in the world, or even, this non-violence, because there is a lot of misunderstanding. People think, oh, if somebody's going to kill me, should I just stand there and take the bullet? So, I mean, like in physical sense, right? So you have to understand very in a little bit in depth what exactly he was talking about, and that is why I found today's sessions to be useful, because I did get to hear some of that stuff. So
Thank you. Thank you. Any questions? Anything you might differ from any of our distinguished speakers? So you please come up. It's a dialogue, so let's have a dialogue. Anyone?
Thank you, sir. Hindi language.
Hello. Please identify yourself, whoever is speaking.
There is some noise here by Harsha Shanyev, which is disturbing. Can you unmute this person?
I'm sure you must have enjoyed all our guests today's very interesting topic. So I'm sure you must have something or the other with you to share or ask questions to our distinguished audience. No one?
Hello.
Okay.
Hello.
Mr. Herbert.
Hello.
Yeah. Hello.
Hina Roban. Hello.
Yeah, ma'am. Just wait 1 second.
Ladies
Mr.
first.
Herbert
Ladies first.
and then Madam Hina. Yes.
No. No issue. No issue. Hello. Good evening, everyone. All the speakers are very good and full of knowledge, and also especially from the Indian side, they are very good, and they all are very good. But my question is, seniority is an attitude, and how we can change the region-wise change attitudes in positive, negativity, roots, how it is possible? Because in Pakistan, we are facing lots of bad situations. Recently, that you all know, the situation of Jadamala. So we are celebrating World Peace Day, and how we change the attitude of region-wise. Thank you, and God bless you.
This is a question for whom? Possibly Madam Jyoti Maya, would you like to reflect on this?
I don't mind. First thing we have to remember that we are humans. We are all human beings. And another person's pain, you cannot be happy if you are giving pain to others. There is a word in Africa which I loved of Nelson Mandela or the South African people, Ubuntu. When a child was asked to go in a race, all the children held each other's hand and ran towards the goal. People could not understand, and they asked, well, there has to be a winner. He said, how can one win if others fail? We all have to be together. We cannot be a winner. So the competitiveness, the very base of religiosity, what we call religion, we have to rise above that. Religion is a personal way of praying to God. We change our religion. You will find many Hindus turning to Islam, many Islam people turning to Christianity. So it is man who made different paths towards the Maker. See, regions, political regions were created to manage politically. That does not make you different. The color of the skin, brown, black, whatever, when the whole world had COVID, was anyone spared? So why are we talking about regions? Yes, India is full of differences. You come to UK, and not only India embraces, UK embraces everyone. We have natures of different kind. We have different kind. You cannot in any way stick to your region and fight for your region. You are not regional. Humankind is not bound by that. It is to rule, to make life easy, to be able to decentralize, to see people's lives made easier and better, to facilitate for the politicians or mankind. It has nothing to do as humanity as a whole. See, immigration is happening every day. And what is Pakistan fighting for? Pakistan was and is, I do believe, a part of India. It was a part of India, politically separated, both the hands cut off India. If you go back to history, you will find that. So maybe, but this is the fact. This is the fact. There also, whether we call it India or Bharat or Pakistan, it was all in the civilization before. Pakistan did not exist. It existed only after Jinnah wanted a separate country for Islam. Well, we believe in India, unity in diversity. The more beautiful, a garden cannot be full of cactus and that's a garden. Garden cannot be full of just grass and that's a garden. Garden has to be a variety of colors, variety of flowers according to season. Look at autumn. When autumn comes, the leaves are far more beautiful than the flowers. We are all like the leaves, different leaves and petals of flowers of a garden. And the garden is one world. Let us be beautiful. Let us be that petal to join into the flower. Let us be leaves of a tree. Let us not be the bitter human beings that we have become, full of ego, full of something that we have conditioned ourselves to say, I'm Hindu, I am Muslim, I am this, I am that. No, we are human beings first. You cannot be happy even if one person is suffering. Remember, and I think region, when we talk about region, we are being so foolish. It's a political thing. In India, you cannot imagine, there is more than 3,000 gods, but we still live with unity. We celebrate Christmas. We celebrate here in England, we celebrate Diwali. We celebrate as a national festival. See, anything that is beautiful, which is for celebration, we all should join in. Life is a celebration. Let's celebrate it. Once in a lifetime, we get such a short life. And what do? We find differences. Let's find one reason to unite, and that is we are human, above all.
Absolutely true, ma'am. And we all need to understand the essence of human interconnectedness, the essence of like we are one, whether with the human beings, with nature, and all other living beings. That is what we call as the cosmocentric approach to human nature. So
Yes.
We have Mr. Herbote, who has raised his hand. So, sir, if you could kindly make your short interjection or any question that you want to ask. I
Yes.
want to ask Mr. Joseph how much time we have, whether in 5 minutes or in 10 minutes we need to wind up. Mr. Joseph, how much time we have for another 10 minutes before we close the session? Mr. Joseph, you have to unmute yourself, please. How much time we have, Nikki ma'am? 10 minutes? Okay, 10 minutes. Perfect. So, Mr. Herbote, kindly share your views.
Yeah, hello. Thanks a lot.
Everyone can give their views. There are a lot of people raising hands. Yeah.
So thanks a lot. My name is Burkhard Herbote. I am from Germany. And there are so much keywords I was picking up. I could talk 3 hours, but of course this is not possible and it does not make sense. So I just want to say, attached to the former lady from Trima or something like this. Sorry if I pronounce not correct. So of course she is right. We need bridges, not walls. But at the moment, I see it here in Europe, a lot of walls are created. The people, the majority of the people go back to the last centuries, speak about borders of before, political borders. But when we look in the history, the most countries never ever had real borders. That we have a real state does not exist since long. With very few exceptions. A real country with a real border was an island. And everything what was not an island never have had a clear, clean border. But this today very often is a reason for conflicts. We are 5 minutes before a war of cultures in a lot of areas at our planet. And this is very dangerous. I wonder what these meetings here online really can produce. It can produce some new information, some new contacts. We need to move, we need to do something. And in my field, my responsibility is intercultural communication, sometimes a little bit interreligious dialogue. I'm working in the field of peace through travel and tourism. I have sent a text here in this chat field. I intend to create an international association for peace through travel and tourism, because the tourist industry has a key in hand to avoid intercultural misunderstandings. And this only happens when the people meet, when they talk to each other, and eat to each other, dance to each other, sing to each other, with each other, and so on. When this does not work, we can talk and talk and talk and talk and talk like, until the next century. Nothing will happen. And in my area, travel and tourism, which is the world's largest employer, by the way, it's employer number one. We very often are confronted with the word peace, but a lot of people say, my God, nobody is against peace, but this is used like a chewing gum and only talk and talk and talk and talk and nothing follows. So we need to identify what is peace and what any individual of us and of the people around of us can do. Some people have some projects, temporary projects or a life project. And this is what we can do to underline, to underscore the humanity, what is needed, not just talk. And we cannot, I think, if everybody here would introduce a project, what we have, this is a job for some hours, and this is not realistic. But my question is, what this chat can produce? Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Do we have another question or another point of view? Very important point shared by Mr. Herbote. Is there anyone, or we close the day by giving the Nikki ma'am it would be an honor to listen to her, and she will close the program. So if there is anyone else not there, if there are no other distinguished guests who would like to share their views, may I hand over to Nikki ma'am to finally close the session. Nikki ma'am, I think let's go ahead. There is no one. No one is raising their hand. Hello, Nikki ma'am. I think let's close it with your closing remark. We can't hear you. Yes, yes.
Yeah, Dr. Vedavats, I'm just so overwhelmed with respect mostly for the speakers, their sincerity and their commitment to peace. Each one of them has come with talking about things that matter a great deal to them. And where their focus lies, people that want to bring change into this world. So to all the speakers, my sincerest and deepest respect for you today, that you took this time to put together what matters most to you, and that you were able to share that. So at the end of the day, people might say to us, but you talk a lot. That's not true. We don't just talk. We have incredible projects. We have people across Africa and in other countries that are working with communities to make a difference. And they're working very hard. And it's those projects that Global Peace Let's Talk adopts, and we make sure that we can share it and profile the projects. Even specifically in areas where there is such conflict, where there are the most horrific wars going on, where women and children are being abused under such extreme violent conditions. And I'm very proud that Global Peace Let's Talk has been able to have an impact there. Our voice is being heard, not only being heard, but that we can actually talk to the right people. Many of the conversations that we have are highly confidential because we're dealing in conflict areas. But surrounding all of that, we've got the most incredible members in Global Peace Let's Talk. People join Global Peace Let's Talk to make a difference, and that is what matters most. And there's a lot with the Sustainable Development Goals. It's very wide they're having problems, they're not meeting all of the Sustainable Development Goals. That's a fact. Antonio Guterres has just attended a meeting where he said, we are a world in crisis. We are a world in crisis. And here at this platform, we have people that are saying, we see that. And we are the people that are able to make a difference. And you've certainly proved that today with your talks. Each one of you shared something that we can learn from. So thank you very much to each and every one. Dr. Vedabas, my heart is with you too, because I know how you work specifically in non-violence, non-conflict areas, and that the birth of this event came from you. And I know that it's we've got another 4 days to go, and I'm hoping everybody that's here today will also attend the other sessions. So God bless all of you. Namaste. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much.
God bless you, Dr.
Thank you. Thank you.
God bless you. Let's have a
Thank you.
Please all camera open. Hello. Please all camera open. Taken a picture. Ma'am, thank you, sir.
Are we good? Are we good?
Thank you.
Bye-bye to all of you. God bless you.
Hello? Can you hear me?
I'm Reverend
Hello?
Shams Naveed from Peshawar. Hello.
Reverend Shams Naveed want to speak. Go ahead. He's from Pakistan.
I just want to thank you all.
All right. On this note, Dr. Vedabas, are you still here?
Yeah, it was very healthy discussion and we learn a lot
All right.
from there.
On this note, sincerely, I greatly appreciate everyone for showing up at this webinar. On behalf of Global Peace Let's Talk and Dr. H.C. Filipina, we all greatly appreciate your presence. Thank you so much. I'm going to leave you with this. Don't forget that peace begins with you, your immediate family, and your community. Please, let's live peacefully. Thank you. On this note, we close today's webinar. Thank you so much. Bye.
Okay, Joseph, thank you so much. And altogether, it's a wonderful program. God bless you.
Thanks for letting me know that I'm sexually available.